Been a long day. Good evening, everybody. Getting ready to get started with the Credit Builder seminar, talking about how to raise your credit score, what affects your credit score. The rattling noise in the background is my daughter. I'm going to give some people a few minutes to see if anybody wants to log on while I'm live, if anybody wants to join the conference room. I'll get started in just a minute. Talking about how to build your credit score this evening. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Westbrook? Good to see you. Talking about raising your credit score this evening. Hey, how you doing, Brandon? I see we got some live viewers this evening. That's excellent. Oh, just so y'all know, that's what all the noise is about. But let's get started. So what is my credit score? Your credit score is a numerical picture of your credit worthiness to lenders such as banks, credit card holders, auto dealerships, anybody who's going to inquire on your credit to see whether they want to approve you or deny you for credit. So it ranges from 300 to 850 most of the time. We'll talk about the difference between the FICO score and the Vantage score tonight, in addition to the presentation. If you're anywhere below 620 on this chart, your credit score needs assistance. 650 and up, your credit score is in good standing. If you want to get pre-approved for a mortgage, first-time home buyer, you're going to need at least a 580 in most cases, but you really want a 620 to benefit from the best options and the lowest interest rates that are available to you. So this is how your credit score is calculated. The largest portion is your payment history. So this is paying your bills on time. Late payments take a big hit on your credit score, and you can actually get those deleted. But just making one late payment can actually bring your credit score down 100 points if you're not careful. The 30% of your credit score is going to be the balance that's owed. So this is your credit usage ratio. For example, if you have a $1,000 credit card and you spend $500 on it, you've used 50% of that line of credit, which means your credit usage ratio is 50%. Now, in order to get the maximum benefit from any kind of revolving line of credit, you want to let your balance report every month to the bureau at 30% or lower, really even lower than 20%. But what you want to do is you want to figure out which day of the month your credit cards or your revolving line of credit reports to the bureau, and you want to pay that balance down before that date. So it reports a balance below 30%. It's going to boost your score on a monthly basis. Now, 15% is your credit history. So this is how long you've had your accounts open for. Paying off accounts and closing them out does not positively affect your credit, because you want to keep as many, especially revolving accounts, you want to keep as many open and in good standing as you possibly can. A credit mix or types of accounts, just difference between an installment loan and a revolving line of credit. Installment loan, you're going to purchase something on credit, you're going to pay it off, and you're going to be done with it. revolving line of credit, you can actually pay it off and then take more money out of it. So that's going to stay open for a longer period of time and boost your score. And then inquiries, 10% of your score. So you don't want to have too many new inquiries on your credit report at any given time. So how your credit score can affect your life, difference between being approved and denied, determines the interest rate you get for your loan or mortgage. Employers will check your credit score to determine whether they want to hire you over a similar looking applicant. Maybe another resume has some similar experience. They may decide to go with the higher credit score. And of course, higher credit scores get better insurance rates as well. This is not what you want to see right here. So we're talking about how to avoid that. How you can find out what's on your credit report, you can use a few different options. I use Privacy Guard for my clients. You'll get all 3 reports as well as your scores from all 3 bureaus. You can get your credit reports for free from annualcreditreport.com once every 12 months. You can do the same by calling this phone number here. They'll verify some information over the phone and send you your reports in the mail. And then I have a phone number here to order your public records as well as your check systems report. Public records is going to show if you have any judgments in the past, tax liens, et cetera, and then check systems report will show any overdue or closed out checking account balances that were never paid. Now, what is credit monitoring? This is a service you can use in order to keep an eye on your credit, make sure nobody is accessing it that's not supposed to be. Nobody's opening accounts in your name or your social security number, but it also keeps you up to date on your credit score, so you don't have to go through other services in order to pull it, because every time you look at your score, that's an inquiry, but it's a soft inquiry. Soft inquiries don't affect your credit score, hard inquiries do. So what are the credit bureaus? These organizations manage the databases that keep all your information in them. The banks and credit card companies use this information that they hold to make their lending decisions. Multi-billion-dollar companies. They also sell information to the collection agencies. That's why they come after you for bills that aren't owed to them. And then they're regulated by the Federal Trade Commission as well as the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And you need to know how to use that to your advantage. Now, the 3 major credit bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Equifax is the largest of the 3. It was founded in 1996. Largest credit bureau of the 3. Back in 2015, their servers were hacked, exposing 15 million people to identity theft. So none of these companies are perfect. Equifax is founded in 1899, the second largest. They're subject to over 57,000 consumer complaints. And then there was actually a recent security breach with Equifax. You can find information on that at equifaxsecurity2017.com. Just be careful, they're going to try to push some products on you. Now, TransUnion was founded in '68. They're the 3rd largest. 2017, they falsely reported consumers on the government terrorist list. Now, I just added this slide today. I didn't get a chance to fill it out yet. But the reason your FICO score is different from your Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian score is that Isaac Newton, or Fair Isaac, he developed the FICO score. This was the original credit score, the original way to develop your credit score. And it's still the golden standard for most banks. But what the 3 bureaus decided to do is they created their own credit score because they were tired of paying Isaac. So now they use Vantage scores, which is on the same scale, 300 to 850, but it will be different from your FICO score. So you want to pay attention to wherever you're lending from. Do they look at your 3 bureau scores, or are they looking at your FICO score? Now, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, this was a federal law passed back in 1970, gives you the right to dispute any item on your credit report. Requires the credit bureaus to investigate, and if companies don't respond, those items must be deleted from your report. Not in the credit bureau's best interest to do this. So they will find ways to make it difficult for you, as well as ways to make your dispute request irrelevant. Now, factors that affect your score: positive impact is making on-time payments, keeping 80% of your revolving credit available on the date that they report to the bureau. Removing derogatory marks from your credit report is probably the biggest effect you can have on it in a short amount of time. Keeping accounts open for a good amount of time is going to have a positive effect, and then keeping a good account mix. So you want to have some credit cards, lines of credit. Don't be scared of those things. You just want to make sure you're being responsible with them. Or just on the opposite side, or the complete opposite of that, we had the negative impact, which is late payments, maxing out cards, or reporting over 50%, ignoring your credit report, closing accounts too early or at all, and then having too many inquiries. And you can see here, if you go into Credit Karma, which is how I do consultations for all of my clients, it'll tell you right on the dashboard what your credit card usage ratio is. If this number is above 50%, it is having a high negative impact on your credit score. You want your payment history percentage as close to 100% as possible, because that's having a high effect on your credit score. Derogatory marks have a high impact. You want to make sure this number is 0. If you have any derogatory marks on your credit report, you want to try at least attempt to have those removed, because that can have a huge impact on your overall score. A credit age, how long your average account has been open for, medium impact. Total amount of accounts, low impact, and then hard inquiries has a low impact compared to some of these other statistics. Now, what can you do to improve your score? Like I was saying, removing the derogatory marks from your credit report is the biggest effect you can have. So late payments, medical bills, collection accounts, charge-offs, bankruptcies, tax liens, you name it. All of these items can bring your credit score down, but they can be removed. And once you remove one of these items from your credit score, it's going to reverse that negative impact. So say you get a charge-off, it goes to collections, your credit score goes down 175 points immediately. You get this account deleted, it's going to go back up 175 points. So how the dispute process works: you'll go through a consultation to discover if derogatory items can be removed, importing your credit reports and credit scores from all 3 bureaus so we know exactly what's on there. We mail off handwritten dispute letters to all 3 bureaus via certified mail. This ensures you can enforce the investigation. And then once you receive your investigation, you take action from there. So how my dispute process compares to some of the competitors out there: JLC Strategy Solutions, we handwrite our dispute letters rather than giving you type letters, because the type letters can be scanned by the credit bureaus and they will actually label your dispute frivolous, which means you won't get any results. Generic, unspecific explanations for removal have a low rate of success. So what we do over here is we do a free consultation, determine exactly why that account needs to be removed, and we tell the bureau that reason rather than just saying the account is not yours when it clearly is. We have an affordable pay by dispute program rather than a high membership where we bundle a bunch of services that you might not necessarily need. So if you wanted to get started with a credit dispute today, you can contact me for a free consultation. If we find derogatory accounts on your account to get started, there is normally a $100 administration fee. Today, which is October 12th, is the last day of the 50% discount promotion. So if you contact me this evening, you can actually save $50 on your first administration fee and pay $50 a month to dispute your credit. After the day, it's going to be $100 and then $50 per dispute. Your credit report will be disputed once every 30 days because that's all the law allows. and then you'll be charged $50 for the additional dispute like I just mentioned. You'll actually be able to log into your own client portal, keep track of all of the accounts that are being disputed, as well as keep up with your score and your results. So you're never locked into a membership, but we do guarantee results, and we've had some positive results so far, getting a lot of positive testimonials from my clients. So that actually brings us to the end of the webinar. Yes, Ms. Harris, I do this, credit repair specialist. I do this webinar once a week on Thursdays, trying to bring some value and educate the community, hopefully financially empower someone to make some better decisions. But if my services can benefit you, definitely get in contact with me. And just keep in mind, I do this every week on Thursday at 7:30. Tell your friends and family. You never know who could use an increase in their credit score. Or why rent a home when you can buy a home? But that brings us to the end of the presentation. I hope you guys have a good evening. Thank you for your time.